The 2025s are starting to come in here at Bud Smail Motor Cars, and I'm excited because today I'm going to get to take my very first test drive in the Mercedes-Benz GLE 53 AMG. That means I'm not going to be an expert, but that's why I grabbed somebody who is an expert. Hey, Scott.
Good to see you, Brian.
Good to see you, too. Scott Powell is a salesman here at Bud Smail Motor Cars in Greensburg. Today, we're going to take this vehicle on a test drive. If you're interested in a Mercedes-Benz vehicle, come check us out. We're online at smailmercedesbenz.com. Let's talk about the exterior color here, Scott, because it's a very nice black color, very glossy, right?
This is standard Mercedes-Benz black. This is the same black we've used for 80 years.
Classic. Those daytime running lights really stick out to me, Scott.
That is a fantastic design, all LEDs, and has been for quite some time. The power domes in the hood, that is a Mercedes-Benz AMG styling quirk that goes all the way back to 1954. You look at the big chrome splitters down there, it gives the car a very impressive look. It enhances and accentuates the type of power that's really under the hood.
And this is an AMG, so you see it right there in the grille as well, along the side of the vehicle too. Let's take a look at that next. So coming around the side, you notice those 5-spoke wheels, graphite type look to them with the Mercedes-Benz logo, AMG logo built in there, and on the brake calipers too, huh?
Well, of course, it's an AMG. It's going to have bigger brakes.
The turbo formatic plus symbol on the side, so that's going to be fun to test out on the test drive. Whenever I come up to the car, and I'll just go ahead and lock it there, you see the power folding mirror. But if I go ahead and put my hand through here, this is just unlock the door, right? To lock it back up, I'm just going to hit the ridge that's on the handle. And what's really great, that power folding mirror just closes automatically.
Closes automatically, and when you're done locking the door, just walk away.
We have the tailgate here, GLE 53 on the right-hand side, AMG on the left-hand side. And things that are sticking out to me here is these quad exhausts, right?
Well, the 53 always gets the oval quad exhaust, and of course the nice, good, sharp-looking diffuser at the bottom there.
Oh yeah, love it. So getting into the tailgate, I'm just going to kick my foot underneath pretty easily, hands-free access. And that was one try, huh? That's great.
You must be getting better at that.
Yeah, no, I think it was just, they're becoming more intuitive. We obviously have some chrome accents here on the bottom. And if we open this up, let's look underneath. We have spare tire in there. And what's with that tire, Scott?
Well, it has an inflation kit with it too. It's a mini spare to take up as little room as possible.
Wow, that's really cool. Netting and some tie downs to prevent things from rolling around. On the right side here, I'm actually noticing a few things. We have a 12-volt charger up here for your tailgating.
That's for the air suspension. You can actually drop the back end. Makes getting things in and out of the car just a little bit easier.
So what makes this engine so special, Scott?
Well, it's an AMG 53. So what this is, and the first thing I want to show you is the Falterbach AMG logo right here on the hood, as opposed to a Mercedes-Benz Star. We already have one down here. This is a 3-liter AMG reprofiled engine. It is a 6-cylinder. It makes 429 horsepower with 413 pounds of torque. This is turbocharged, of course, by turbo, and it is mated to a 9-speed transmission. What makes it extra special too, this is what they call a mild hybrid. This has an electric motor called an integrated starter generator that sits between the engine and the transmission. What that does for you is it gives more power to the wheels more quickly, improves efficiency, and smooths out turbo lag.
Now getting into the back seats here, Scott, wow, we have a nice black leather seat. Looks like we have some suede inserts in there as well. Huh?
Absolutely. This is the standard AMG interior. And look how much space you have back there.
Yeah, there's a ton of space back here. And some of the other things that we have back here too, we have an armrest, 2 cup holders. If we look in front of us, we have some ventilation up here, some little storage, and USB-Cs back here for charging things. Some little nets here for holding things, but something that's sticking out to me, we can't see it right now. I might as well go and open this up. Let's take a look. I went ahead and pressed the button. The shade's coming back, and we just have an extremely large panoramic roof above us here, Scott. Gives me so much more visibility, and this comes all the way back to behind my head here.
And that's a standard feature on the GLE 53. On the other GLE variants, the 350 and the 450, you got to pay extra for it.
Wow. So that's a really great feature to mention. I love these back seats. Let's jump up front and then we'll get this thing on the road. So here we are sitting in the front seats of the GLE 53 for the first time here, Scott. And man, there's a lot of cool different textures on the dashboard. You have that black leather up top. You have this brushed chrome finish here.
Brushed aluminum is always a nice touch.
Yeah, it looks great here. If we're looking ahead of us, we have this panel screen, and are these vents here on the side? Looks
well,
on this side.
It's a vent on your side. Yeah. Over here is just part of the design of the car.
Yeah.
But
it draws your attention to the screen.
On the left-hand side, the driver's side, you have your instrument cluster. And on the right-hand side is your infotainment center. It's all part of the new Mbux.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and buckle up real quick here, Scott. And
you got it.
For this test drive, before we start looking into things. And right there, I just got a little hug from my seatbelt.
That is the Mercedes-Benz seatbelt pretensioner. The whole idea behind that is safety.
Okay.
It makes a little adjustment there to make sure the seatbelt is holding you correctly.
Yeah, I definitely feel snug here. And as we're talking about the seats, let's look at our seat controls here on the door. We obviously have, looks like our heated and cooled seats. I'm not sure what the R stands for.
That stands for right. Go ahead and push it.
Yeah.
And then make a seat adjustment.
Okay.
Any seat adjustment. Yeah, see right-hand side of the seat.
I'm changing your seat.
Uh-huh.
I could totally annoy you with this.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could.
All right. So it looks like you have heated and cooled seats as well.
I have heated and ventilated seats on here, but I cannot control the driver's seat from here.
That's cool.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. If we're looking at our infotainment screen, let's go over this real quick.
All right.
We obviously have our navigation up there. We can easily put that up there.
Yep.
Looks like we have our phone options. Do we have Apple Carplay, Android Auto on
It's wireless.
Oh, great. Awesome.
It's wireless. So pairing a phone, once you do that, you give them the option of using CarPlay, and there it is. It's right there. And you also have, if I can look in here, a wireless charging pad.
Oh, great.
Along with 2 USB-C ports.
You have a ton of charging options in here, that's for sure. You're not going to be...
There's 5. There's really 5.
Oh, okay.
There's the charging pad, the 2 USB-Cs here, and 2 USB-Cs in the back.
This is probably where we can change different things on our screen, right?
Touchpad for those who don't want to reach all the way up.
Yeah. So just scrolling through here real quick, obviously you have some comfort features. You have off-roading features.
Go back over to comfort again.
Yeah. Let's go into that.
That's where you can get into your seat controls, your heat settings. It doesn't just have to be on. You can put it all the way on your back, on your bum, any way you want it to be.
Cool. And what about this? I'm seeing this up here. We have our ambient light, don't we?
Here we go.
Here we go. So we can change the color of our ambient lighting. You can see all along the interior, this red light that's here right now, right?
Because what you have here, you have 16 different color shows that you can just pick. It'll be those colors. Like Miami Rose is my favorite, but you can get into any of those. But if you go over here to monochrome, you have your choice of 64 different colors, single colors you can go with.
And just you changing that into the blues, if we can look around and just see how this pops. It's absolutely vibrant here on this overcast day. All the way across here, but another thing I'm noticing along the armrests here too.
And it's in the footwells.
Oh, wow. So it's just all over the place. Even in the back seats, there's a few spots as well. So really cool to see all that ambient lighting. We obviously have off-road performance and track pace, different things like that we can go into.
Track pace would be for someone who's a bit more performance oriented. So you can actually set and design a track, and then I've never done it.
Yeah.
But you can get in there and pace yourself.
Oh,
See exactly how well you're doing it.
That's
you get
really
around
cool.
out of this here, AMG performance. This is going to be gauges.
Okay.
Different kinds of gauges. If you go to engine performance, just touch on there where it says engine.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to get your engine torque and power distribution. If you touch on IWC, if you notice around the car, there's nothing analog in the car at all. But one of the hallmarks of an AMG for years is they had an IWC clock. So we still get the clock.
All right.
You still get the clock, but it's not a physical clock.
On the left-hand side, we do have hotkeys here for the vehicle. On the left side, we do have the dynamic mode. So if I just hit that, we can come up here to the screen. And you can see all the different changes that you can make to your dynamic modes, right? You have different modes for whatever conditions you're in. You obviously have, we have slippery, individual, comfort, sport, sport plus.
Oh, did you hear the pipes kick in?
Yeah. The second that I switched over.
Yep.
And some things on my steering wheel change. We'll get to that here in a second. What am I looking at here, though, Scott?
This is your controller for the aromatic suspension. This is an
Okay.
air suspension. So if you wanted to raise or lower the car, you would push this button. Now we're going to raise up a little bit. We were in the
Okay.
lower position. If you want to rise up, you
Yeah.
can do that. Now that's also, if you start getting the car up to speed, it's going to go hunker back down again.
Checking out the armrest here, I'm just going to hit this button and it's going to open up two ways. It looks like we have an additional charger in there, Scott, too.
Well, I guess there's 6.
Yeah, we do have some additional storage space in there, which is great. And I love these armrests because, I can leave mine closed and yours can open or vice versa. So that's really nice. Let's take a look at the steering wheel because this is just an outstanding number of buttons on the steering wheel, Scott. Looking on the top left, we obviously have our home button and different things that we can change up here on the dash, right?
You have a bunch of different styles of display you can put
Yeah.
up.
There's your track pace, you have super sport, it's your sport mode, you have classic. Here's one that I really like, right? There's understated too, but there's navigation up here,
Put
right?
your nav instructions in, and you don't even have to take your eyes off the center. It's right there, and the speedometer is always going to be there for you too, and all the other indicators that you need.
Another couple things that I just want to show off here. We have an off-road mode as well. We have, which is really cool, right?
Well, look at the information that it actually gives you. There's your compass heading if you want it.
Yeah.
The actual tilt and degree of
Yeah,
where you
it's right down there.
where we actually are, your actual position.
Yeah. Here we go.
And did you know we are sitting right here at this park at 1,270 feet above sea level?
Looks like we have our cruise control settings there. Down below, what do we have down here, Scott?
Those two knobs, that's the AMG drive unit. On the left-hand side there, if you'll touch, there you go.
Okay.
You can actually program different things.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Touch on top, then use the switches. You can go through various different individual settings there.
Yeah.
Tighten your suspension, turn your pipes on.
Yeah. Let's totally keep those pipes on because that's cool. And obviously you have your dynamic.
Yep, brings
AMG
that up.
dynamics.
And that's what this does here. Rather than using this button for dynamic select, you can go through your selection just by turning the wheel.
Oh, that's cool. So that's really cool. You don't have to really reach away from the steering wheel. On the right side of the steering wheel, that's going to control your infotainment screen.
That's correct.
You have your volume buttons for your radio and your hang up phone button, make phone call button. And one really big button here is your push to talk, right? So that's going to give you access to your phone or, your MBUX system.
Well, to use the MBUX system, you just have to say the magic words. But for that button, you would push and hold it. It's going to bring up your Siri or your Google Assistant.
Okay.
Push and hold it, and it'll bring your voice assistant up.
Cool.
So you really have two push to talk voice systems in this car. Whatever's in your phone, if you choose to pair it, and the standard Hey Mercedes on MBUX.
So talking about the MBUX system, we obviously have a lot of features involved with that, like everything from changing your temperature in your vehicle through voice commands to like changing the radio, things like that, right?
It'll change the radio stations. You can put your nav instructions in by voice command. And you don't need to be real polished about it either. Just stumble around and it'll know. You touched on that on the temperatures. It'll do the ambient lighting. It'll open the sunshade.
Yeah.
There's about 200 different commands it'll do.
How can I help?
It's cold in here.
I'm increasing the temperature to 62 degrees.
So that's just a taste of the intuitiveness of it. Like, you don't really have to say, turn the temperature up. I'm just saying, hey, this is my gripe. Fix it. And it's doing it, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's 75 miles an hour on the turnpike.
Yeah.
You need to keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road, so just ask the car to do things for you.
Really cool. All right, Scott. Well, that's a lot of features. Let's get this thing out on the road. Let's test some of them out. So the first thing I really love to test out here, Scott, is the backup camera. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the vehicle into reverse, and just like we talked about before, we have a nice big backup camera. And actually there's a lot of stuff here that's
new and different. New and
Yeah.
different. First one here, it's anticipating that you want to park the car. So go ahead and push the button that says start parking procedure.
Okay, all right. Okay, I just took my foot off of the accelerator, off of the steering wheel, and off of the brake. And this thing is reversing the vehicle for us. It's now correcting to bring us back into this spot.
And it's going to park itself.
This is insane. So that was incredibly intuitive, just to have a button there that came out with like that augmented reality type thing.
And it's parking itself in the spot that it chose.
Yes. That's insane. I will say that is definitely the quickest and easiest parking assistant job that I've ever experienced. And we've done a lot.
Well, open the door and see how perfect a job it did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's even. That's great. Some of the other things we just want to show on here, we obviously have different camera angle views, right? There's
Yep.
my front.
Yeah.
If I want to go that 3/4 back, straight back, obviously, and on the other side, whenever I turn the wheel, that's going to change the projected angle back. And, you know, even like your parking sensors and stuff, let's test those out real quick. So just in reverse here, another really great feature that this has built into it, if something's behind me whenever I'm in reverse, right? It's
Watch the blue bow down there.
all right.
Keep creeping up on it. See, it's changing color.
Yes.
That's what you want it to do.
And that aura around it
Mm-hmm.
is really changing as well too. It's beeping at me more and more to alert me that something's behind me. There's also one other thing that kind of popped up here. This is crazy just how many views you have here. But if I put the vehicle into reverse real quick, you can actually see this little button here. I can see a wider view if I need to, or a straight back view with that 360. So just like a ton of really great camera options built in there. Does it have cross traffic monitoring as well?
Of course.
So if there's a vehicle or person back
Yeah.
there, it's going to alert me too. So
Absolutely.
that's really cool. Okay, let's get this thing out onto the road.
You like that, huh?
Wow. Scott, this is just, it had so much acceleration there. I didn't put my foot to the ground. That was just a nice little acceleration there. We heard the engine, the throttle really going off there. So definitely really cool.
The great thing about this car is it's a full-size SUV. It's a family hauler in the body, but a race car engine underneath. So you can really have both worlds.
So Scott, what makes formatic all-wheel drive different than other all-wheel drive systems?
Well, I can't speak for anybody else's all-wheel drive system, but since this is an AMG, this is the AMG formatic, so it has a slight bias to the rear for performance, about 65% to the rear, 35% to the front. But if we can look at this screen right over here, that's going to show you where the power is at any given time.
Oh, wow.
And it will move around to give you the most torque and control to keep the car on the road under any conditions.
Wow. So once again, we're just watching here. Whenever I put my foot to the ground, just the kind of power we're getting to the wheels.
And that's the thing, your performance on this is going to be similar to the CLE 53 that we drove, but that sits a little bit lower. But
Yeah.
even at that, even with a higher stance with the aromatic suspension, you should have all the feel and control you would in a sedan.
So what do we have for warranty for Mercedes-Benz, Scott?
Well, it's a 4-year, 50,000-mile manufacturer's warranty. That would be a comprehensive warranty, would cover everything but tires, brakes.
All right. Well, that was a close one.
Glad we're sitting back here.
Let's check out the turning radius real quick here. I'm just going to turn the wheel. And that got us around in those two lanes very easily.
And you didn't even leave the lane.
No,
You didn't go
yeah.
over the shoulder.
Yeah.
You're able to turn it in the lane.
So this is just a really thrilling ride here, Scott. I absolutely love this. If people have questions about this GLE 53 AMG, how can they contact you?
Well, that's easy. You can go online to smailmercedesbenz.com or stop by and see us at 5053 Route 30 in Greensburg. You're really liking this car, aren't you?
Yes, it's really a pleasure to be driving it. That's going to do it for our test drive today. So until next time, I know I'm going to enjoy the ride.